So I got an email the other day from someone who had some really good questions about what to expect in the interview. And these questions were really good. They're very specific, and I kind of wanted to run through them. So if you do get asked any of these, you can kind of be prepared for them. Number one, there is a loud, obnoxious boy in your class who isn't doing the assignment you have given. What do you do? This is going to sound weird, but you ignore them. You can kind of, encourage them if you're walking around the class while everyone else is doing the assignment. Kind of encourage them to do it, like, try and explain it to him again. But if he's just not interested and he's not going to do it, you can't make him do the assignment. You could let your JTE know. That's a Japanese teacher of English, your team teaching partner. See what they can do about it. But for your part, there's really only so much you can do. So if someone isn't doing it, I try and nudge them in that direction, like, hey, look at this, you can say it this way. But if they don't care, they don't care. And there's nothing you can really do about it. Again, this is part of that be flexible thing. Number two, you are teaching a lesson and the Japanese team teacher makes an English grammar mistake. What do you do? It depends. If it's something they say in passing, then I'm not going to worry about it. Usually if they make a grammar mistake, they'll notice it themselves and they'll correct themselves. But if it's really integral to the lesson and they're trying to teach the students this and they write it incorrectly, I'll point it out to them in kind of like a subtle way in class, like, you might want to fix this or something, especially if it's on the blackboard. It's an easy fix. You're like, oh, it should be this way. And the teachers, they know English pretty well. At least all of my JTs do. They'll be like, oh, right, here, my bad. And they'll say, erase, and they'll correct it right there. But if it's something really major that I notice, like going on in the classroom, I won't talk to the teacher there because A, it's time for the English lesson, and B, you want to kind of save face in front of the students. You and the JT are supposed to be the English authorities, so you can't really make a correction in class. So you talk to them about it after class in the teacher's room or whatever, and that's cool. 3. What will you say if a student asks you about drug use? Don't do it. Drugs are bad. If you have done drugs, if you haven't done drugs, it really doesn't matter, but you shouldn't be letting them know about, your past experiences or whatever. It's not appropriate. Number 4, what would you say if a student asks you when you lost your virginity? Tell them it's personal and you don't want to discuss it because it's, none of their business. Okay, number 5, would you ever strike a student? What if the teacher you are teaching with struck a student in front of you? What would you do? This is kind of funny because in Japan, obviously you can't like smack a student around or deck him or anything, but the teachers here will sometimes, if the student's being annoying or if they're not paying attention, they'll like tap them on the head. And I'm not saying they'll do it hard, but they're just a little tap, like you're scolding a puppy or something. It's not hard or anything like that, and it's kind of comical almost. But it shocked me kind of the first time I saw it. I was like, oh my God, you just like tap, hit the student on the head? What are you doing? And I found out that it's cool here for them to do. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it for an ALT. I don't think that's something a lot of us are comfortable with. But if you see a JT do it, not a big deal. It's all over the place. Now, if it's something else entirely, if it's them, really like, hurting the student, then obviously there's a problem, and you should probably tell one of your other JTEs or someone else in authority. Next. What would you do if you are teaching a class and there is one student in the back room of the room sleeping, reading comics, or talking on a cell phone? Again, you can tell them, hey, please, do the assignment. But if they're not going to listen, they're not going to listen, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes the JTE will step in and, make them, try and make them do the lesson or whatever, or the assignment. But if they don't want to do it, they're not gonna, and that's up to them. It'll be reflected in their grades. Japanese schools are really different this way than schools in the U.S., where if you're not doing the assignment or if you're disruptive in class, you'll be sent to the principal's room or get a detention or something. Here, it just doesn't happen. I think a lot of the discipline is carried out outside of the classroom. The teachers here have a much closer relationship with the students' parents, and usually there's discussions there. So, as far as discipline goes, what you don't see happening in the classroom is happening outside the classroom, and is usually involving the student's family at some point. Teachers here, I think, have a lot more responsibility than teachers in the U.S. Next, what would you do if a student spit or cursed at you? Again, never happened to me, but you tell your JTE or someone in authority. Last one. What would you do if you were in the right classroom when the bell rang, but your team teacher is not there? This has never actually happened to me because I always go to the classroom with my JTE. And sometimes they'll forget something and they'll have to run back to the teacher's room. So what I do is I have the same standard kind of introduction at every lesson. As soon as the teacher leaves, the kids will notice and they'll start to, get a little fidgety and start talking to each other. But you have to keep control in the classroom. You say, okay, hello everyone, is the first thing you say, and if they don't pay attention the first time, you say it again, and then they'll all eventually respond, hello, Mr. Eli. You say, okay everyone, please tell me, what day is it today? Well, it's Wednesday. Okay, how do you spell Wednesday? And you can kind of drag the time out with that your JTE is missing, and you fill it with your standard stuff. So you say hello, you ask them the day, you can ask how to spell the day, you ask them the date, ask them how to spell the month, ask them how's the weather, what time is it. There's different, introductory things that you do in each lesson that you can expand on. And you can even play some simple games, like if your JT is really missing for a while. I think it's more likely they'll abandon you once you've been here for a while, so you'll kind of know the kids already, and you'll be able to do some games that you've done previously, so like telephone games or whatever. So that's all for this. I hope that helps, and good luck with your interviews. I will see you later. Bye.